Hello, my name is Nat Weeks, and we are here at the Atlantis Resort in Nassau in the Bahamas. Manatech has brought about 1,300 of us from North America down here, folks who have been successful in helping other people. And if you're hoping to feel great, I think what we have to share with you right now will be a real encouragement to you. Let me give you a little background. The traditional diet, and by that I mean a diet that would be, let's say, 1951. In 1951 we had good soil, real food. For example, 100 grams of spinach could generate 110 milligrams of iron. One orange would give you plenty of vitamin C, and 2 peaches would provide the vitamin A for a woman for a day. Consequently, we had lots of energy and good health. Unfortunately, in 1991, our diets are a little bit different. And what we're dealing with now is sterile and toxic soils, insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, radioactive fertilizers. It's now permissible, without marking on the fertilizer sacks, to put in radioactive material. That's kind of how they're getting rid of it. They think if they spread it thinly enough, over a large enough area, nobody will glow appreciably more than anybody else. Of course, our foods are becoming more and more genetically modified, and worst of all is the food is harvested green before it ripens on the vine, and so the nutrition does not develop. That's left for the final week or two of the ripening stage, but if you harvest everything before it ripens, it won't make any difference. And of course, remember, the reason we eat food is it tastes good, but we eat it to get the nutrition that our body needs, because when you started out as 2 cells in your mother's womb, and to what you are today, that's no thanks to drugs and medication and chemotherapy and radiation. That's your nutrition. Your body functions on nutrition. It can repair what needs to be repaired. It can, in a sense, it's your body that does the healing. It's fearfully and wonderfully made, but it needs the nutrition to get that job done. We also have the food then is irradiated, generally with cobalt-18, and to kill any bacteria. Of course, it kills all the enzymes and everything else. And then additives are added. Most of them are synthetic and harmful. The food is then refined and processed and properly cooked. And meanwhile, we're dealing with polluted air. Our bodies are having to contend with the polluted water. We're under a lot of stress. We're eating junk food that doesn't give us what we need. And even the real food, so to speak, out of the fields, 100 grams of spinach today, instead of 110 milligrams of iron, only provides 3. And instead of 1 orange, you need 10. And a woman, instead of 2 peaches, needs 53 for the same amount of vitamin A. And so we are getting progressively sick, progressively ill. First, it might be, I don't know, high blood pressure, or triglycerides or cholesterol or whatever, and then other things come along, and pretty soon you aren't just on one medication, but you're on 2 or 3, and people in their 80s and 90s are often on 10 or 12, and the chemical interaction going on in their bodies has never been assessed. And so many Americans at a younger age are now exhausted, and we're the most obese nation on earth. And so a lot of times, in light of this situation, people will supplement with what they think are natural supplements. And these would be things like dirt and chemicals. It's what we call fake food technology. And it has to do with vitamins and minerals. Vitamins are made in big chemical vats, and the minerals are just dirt mined out of the ground and sorted by whether it's magnesium, copper, iron. Well, this leads to additional problems because we can't function on fake food. Our body isn't designed to eat dirt. If we could eat dirt, we wouldn't have to eat food. So we're supposed to let the plants eat the dirt, and then we eat the plants, or we eat the cows that eat the plants. But we aren't supposed to eat the dirt directly. So whether or not they're in capsules or liquid, or nanoparticles really ground up, these rocks ground up really teeny tiny, they're still rocks, they're still dirt, and our body is not made to absorb that kind of stuff no matter how small you can grind it. We have a lot of people who think they're taking vitamin C, but they're being deceived. If they read the back of the label, they find out it's just a chemical, ascorbic acid made in a big vat, which can barely deal with scurvy. It's just a fraction of the total vitamin. And a lot of women don't want to have brittle bones, so they might be taking some kind of a calcium, like calcium carbonate. Well, calcium carbonate's just powdered sidewalk. It's limestone. You can get it cheaper at the lawn and garden show. And so you want to see if on the label where it says how much you should be taking on a daily basis, if it says take with food, don't take on an empty stomach, that's because if you take dirt on an empty stomach, it'll upset your stomach. If you take dirt with a meal, it won't be as noticeable, and you'll be able to get away with it. But I think probably you shouldn't be taking dirt at all. And if the label has the seal that says USP on it, that stands for the United States Pharmacopoeia. That generally means it's 100% synthetic, and your body's not made to eat synthetic stuff. In fact, the word pharmacopoeia, which comes from, it's a Greek word. It's where the word pharmaceutical comes from. It means witchcraft, if you look it up in the dictionary. So that's one option. You can supplement with stuff that doesn't work, your vitamin, one a day, multiple vitamins, and that kind of thing. Generally, they don't work for those reasons. And so eventually, your symptoms get worse, and you got to go see a doctor. And the doctor has then the opportunity, he has the chance to suggest supplementation with synthetic stuff, man-made drugs and medication. And the end result is now that your progressive illness still progresses, but now it's being managed. And it just means you aren't going to die as quickly, perhaps. But you're going to be adding additional toxicity and all the consequences of the bad side effects that come with eating something that's a drug, a synthetic, man-made. And so you have to understand that you can't drug a person back to health. Because drugs only deal with symptoms. They don't address the root of the problem, the cause of the problem. And we're finding that Americans actually want to get well. They want to be healthy. They don't want to just, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so we want to deal with the cause, the root of the problem. And so the third type of supplementation to this modern diet we're having to deal with is the use of natural supplements. In other words, organic minerals, the dirt that's been converted into food by plants, and of course plant-sourced vitamins, phytonutrients and glyconutrients. In other words, real food technology. And this is where Manatech excels. There's no one that can offer really what we offer. Now, when we talk with people about their health, we ask them where out of 5 levels they find themselves, whether their health is great, good, okay, poor, horrible. We're hoping that it's going to be great eventually in time. And so the first thing we have to do when we find out what level they're at is to find out what level they want to be at down the road. I talked with one gal that said she was poor, but poor is okay. She just wanted to stay on the high end of poor, and so that's okay. If whatever level you're at, if you just want to stay at the high end of that level, then the optimal support packs will be sufficient, and they're comprised of the 4 essentials: the plus, the impact on the endocrine system, the hormones, the regulation of what's going on in your body; the ambrotose, which is cellular communication, and I'll explain that in a moment; and the antioxidant, which is very powerful, 10 times more powerful protection than you can get in a store; and the phytomatrix, which are vitamins and minerals in food form. And then, of course, the non-essentials. Okay, so if you're happy at that level, those are the optimal support packs with the 4 essentials. Now, if you want to go up one level, if you're at okay and you want to get to good, you're good, you want to get to great, or whatever the case may be, then you would need, instead of these little packets with these tablets, these 4 essentials in them, you'd probably need more. And that's where you'd be ordering the bottles, the capsules, the jars. And then if you actually want to jump a level, you probably need twice as much as that. And so it can get expensive because these products are really significant. I mean, we know what the competition sells their stuff for, but of course they know what it's worth. But the thing to remember is no matter how much you're consuming or how much you're spending, Manatech understands that the body needs a while to heal. If you buy your vitamin supplements or whatever out of the health food store, and remember when you go to the cash register to ask them what kind of a guarantee they offer. And they'll, if they don't laugh and say, you think this stuff works, they might say, well, 30 days. Well, that's disingenuous because 30 days is a legal thing. When I left my ski on the wrong side of a tree at Keystone, they gave me a cast, and it wasn't just for the weekend. I had it on long enough for my body to heal, and Manatech understands that. And so whatever you get from Manatech, their guarantee is 6 months. 6 months, 100% satisfaction. If you aren't absolutely impressed with the improvement you see in your overall general health, you can get all your money back. So there's no financial risk. And 6 months is realistic in terms of giving your body time to heal. So don't quit before that, just knowing that in due time you'll be able to, you'll be delighted with the results. Now there are some non-essentials, and this has to do with the symptoms and the functions, your cardiovascular health, your musculature, your immunological, your respiratory, skeletal communication, skin, hormonal, metabolic, digestive. These are all other aspects of your health. There's a product called Manna-C that just clears your sinuses, and it's all natural. None of this is medication or drugs. You can't overdose. It's just wonderful. It's like eating 10 carrots instead of 1. It's just more concentrated nutrition. And if you have muscle stiffness and joint pain, there's several products that you'll never stop having handy if you end up with aches and pains. They're just wonderful products, and it's not an imposition on your body. So let me talk about what is essential for health. There are 6 things that are essential. So first of all, let's see. The first thing you need that's essential is to keep breathing. Don't stop breathing. You need oxygen. And you need water, H2O. Coca-Cola is not a substitute. And you need the 3 fatty acids, like the omega-3 fatty acids. And you need the 9 amino acids to make enzymes and proteins. And you need 72 trace minerals, and you need 26 vitamins. And so whenever you go into a health food store and there's a huge array of all these products, know that they all break down to these 6. And if you get these 6, you're going to be fine. Now, we knew this for quite a while, and that we now have fortified milk and enriched bread and total cereal and all that kind of stuff. But as we look around, more and more of our friends are getting sicker and sicker at a younger age. And it's like there's a hole in the theory. There's something that's missing. And Manatech discovered that you need 8 glycoconjugates. 8 of these. Glyco is a Greek word that means sweet, pertains to sugars. There are 205 sugars known to science, but these 8 have nothing to do with energy. They're the letters of the alphabet of communication between the cells throughout the body. And conjugate is a word that you're familiar with if you studied a foreign language and conjugated verbs to get the imperfect tense or the future tense or the past tense. And so you're basically arranging these 8 sugars in different combinations on the surface of your cell to spell out a message. And if you could look at the surface of your cell under an electron microscope, you'll see that it's fuzzy. It looks like there's a forest there. And on these protein stems that poke through your cell walls are all these glycoconjugates. The whole thing's called a glycoprotein. And if you want to be blown away, just Google glycoconjugate space and then whatever issue. And you'll be amazed. The trouble is, if you have 8, you got all the dots that are necessary to make coherent sentences and messages. But in the average American diet, we're down to about 2 out of the 8. Now this makes the surface of the cell bumpy so that the cells read each other, the immune system, and throughout the body, it's read the way a blind person reads Braille. Kind of. I mean, that's simplified. But if my immune system comes up to an unknown cell, and it's trying to figure out if it's a good guy to be taken care of or a bad guy to be destroyed, viruses, fungus, bacteria, moles, all that kind of stuff, then it reads the bumps. But if the bumps are insufficient, then the message is going to be garbled. If the message is blah, 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 that's not going to work, and it leaves the immune system in a dilemma because it doesn't know if it should destroy this unknown cell or take care of it. If the option is, I'd rather be safe than sorry, I'm not sure what's going on here, let's get rid of this unknown cell, and it destroys the cell, what if that's a good guy? What happens if you destroy too many of the good guys? Well, then you end up with an autoimmune issue. If your immune system, your own buddy, after all these years, if it starts thinking it's supposed to destroy your pancreas, that's not good. If it goes after your joints, that's not good. If it starts destroying your connective tissue or your intestines, if it starts demyelinating your nerve sheaths so you end up short-circuited into a wheelchair, none of that stuff, your immune system's supposed to be on your side. But if it can't differentiate between good guys and bad guys, there are going to be problems. And conversely, if it doesn't recognize the bad guys, then that leads to problems as well. Because if you have bad guys spreading through your body and your immune system doesn't recognize them as bad guys, that's going to be a real problem because the bad guys are supposed to be destroying. And so if you have a friend who's dying of a bunch of bad guys where they don't belong, it's not really an immune system issue. She could have the strongest immune system in the world, the very strongest immune system. But if this really strong immune system can't recognize the bad guys, it won't destroy them. Does that make sense? So it's not really an immune system issue, it's more of a communication issue. Once it understands these are the bad guys, it can wipe them out, it can destroy them. Now, when I talk about cellular communication, it makes me think of the English alphabet. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but from just 4 strokes of the pen, 1, 2, 3, 4, two straight strokes and 2 curved strokes, you can get every letter in the alphabet capitalized to small. I don't know if you're aware of that. For instance, a capital A would be 2 of these long ones and 1 of the short ones. And a small a would be 1 of these small curved strokes and 1 of these small straight ones. And an S would be 2 of these curved ones, 1 this way and 1 this way. And you can get K's and B's and T's and R's and M's and all the letters of the alphabet capitalized to small. But you need all 4 strokes and you need them in the right place. If I go like that, you might think I'm saying cat, but that's because this bottom stroke belongs up here. Not that I'd be saying eat, but I'd be saying fat. So fat, eat, or cat, it's all the same stroke depending on, the same word depending on where you put the last stroke. But what if you're actually missing a stroke? What if that stroke's no longer available? And I try and write you a message. Without this short, straight stroke, can you read my message? Probably not. But if I can supplement back into the diet, there it is. Now I can put it where it belongs. And it could prove to be an important message. I need help. And so that's what this Ambertose does. It's one of the 4 essentials, and no other company can legally market it. We have over 40 patents all over the world. But it's crucial. It makes a huge difference. And so get together with whoever introduced you, establish how much of the essentials you need, the plus, the Ambertose, the phytonutrients, the phytomatrix, and the AO, the antioxidant. And then get Ambertose on the automatic order. And then if you have other issues with your heart or anything else, then you can look at the non-essentials and add those on as well. And we're sure you'll be absolutely delighted. Now, we should tell you at this point that we do have a product, 2 different products for people who are feeling great, but they're not so happy with their appearance. It might be the fat loss that interests them. Maybe they're carrying away around more inches, more pounds than they need. and we have a fantastic, it's not a weight loss program. Weight loss programs are harmful and they don't always work and they don't last, and you end up with the yo-yo effect. But we have a fantastic fat loss program. And then we also have a really good skincare program. It's really the best in the world. We don't use any of these harmful parabens that show up in tumors, and it's based on wellness water and incredible statistics with our skincare line of products. And we also have a referral program where you can refer people to us, as maybe perhaps you will refer it to your friend, and we'll get them started and make sure they get wonderful results, and you'll get a little bit of a bonus check for doing that. And with us, our first one I think was $12. And now you can add a bunch of zeros to that, because we've been able to help so many people and help those people help their people. And again, it always comes down to the products. Hype just won't cut it. But if you want to go to manitechscience.org, you'll be amazed with the information there. The websites have additional information on the products. And as I mentioned, if you just want to do a generic search on Google with glycoconjugates, space, and then whatever issue, you'll be blown away with this is a hotter field of research than the Genome Project now. And in fact, MIT's Technology Review Journal listed the 10 emerging technologies that will change the world. And glycomics was one of the top 10. So we've seen in the last 15 years that I've been with the company some amazing differences, and we're sure you're going to be delighted.